25 things you may not know about the Smuggler's Run DLC in GTA Online. It only took 4 years, but you can finally kill yourself with the silenced pistol. That's something I've been wanting to do forever, and now I can finally do it. If you own a hangar, you can actually slam right into the hangar door and it will bring your plane into your hangar. Now, I do want to tell you guys, because I have done this a few times, you have to hit the ground, because I found that sometimes if you don't hit the ground with your plane, then you will just slam right into the door and it'll kill you. It'll blow you up. So just make sure you touch the ground. You can be going as fast as you want. Your plane could be basically broken, but as long as you hit the ground right, where your hangar starts, then it'll bring you into your hangar and you'll have a brand new plane. Inside of the hangar, there are actually some secret little things that you may not know if you don't explore it. At the very, very top, there is a homing launcher, which will constantly give you ammo. So if you don't want to spend money on the homing launcher, then just go up there, maybe go AFK for a few minutes, and it'll constantly give you ammo. And my friend actually told me, despite it just having the homing launcher icon, it filled up all of his explosive weapons. So his RPGs, his grenade launchers, all that stuff got filled up by that. I can't confirm that, but go up there and every like 10 seconds, it'll spawn 2 homing launcher rockets so you can get them for free. Speaking a little bit more about the hangars, in my opinion, the Fort Zancudo hangars are the best, and they are totally worth the extra $1 or $2 million for a few reasons. One of the reasons is that you can now freely go into Fort Zancudo without getting stars, and the military people in there do not care, and the fences are open for you. So that is huge if you like to go into Fort Zancudo. And then also, it's a great location because you have free lasers, free buzzards, you have free titans that spawn, cargo bobs even spawn sometimes. So there's a lot of little benefits you get for owning a Fort Zancudo hangar. Also, when you own a Fort Zancudo hangar, Pegasus vehicles will now spawn inside of the military base. And that is definitely convenient if you plan on transferring your Pegasus vehicles to your hangar to make them personal vehicles. Now, one of the downsides with the Fort Zancudo hangars, and this may be a downside also with the LSIA hangars because I have not actually tested this there, but your oppressor cannot be spawned right in front of you at 2 of the Fort Zancudo hangars. The 2 that are down by themselves, when you go ahead and call your oppressor from your interaction menu, from your MC, it won't spawn it next to you. It'll actually spawn it a decent amount away. And that's going to get annoying if you just want to quickly get around the base, because sometimes when you do call your Pegasus vehicle or any of the other vehicles, it'll spawn it far away and you just want a quick way to get to them. Well, if your oppressor or any of your bikes can't spawn right next to you, that's going to suck because you're going to have to walk there. However, the one hangar down by itself in Fort Zancudo, for whatever reason, you can be right outside and your oppressor or any of your bikes will spawn right next to you. It's only the area where those 2 hangars are at, where like the laser and stuff spawn. For some reason, bikes don't spawn in that area. But if you go further north, closer towards the ocean, that hangar by itself, you can spawn your oppressor. And honestly, I might even change my hangar for that reason, because it's really convenient to spawn your bike right in front of you so you can drive around the military base. Another thing with hangars, you can have stars on you. People could be right next to you. The cops, the military base can be right next to you, and you can walk right in and lose the stars. So that's really convenient, because if you have stars on you and you want to get rid of them, just go into your hangar, boom, they're gone. Now inside of your hangar, this is a really fun little thing. If you have the Miljet, which is I think $1.7 million, it holds 16 people, you can bring it inside of your hangar and you can, paint it and all that. But the funny thing, when you get out of it inside of your hangar, it actually sort of flings you around. I don't know why this is the case. I guess your guy doesn't move far enough away, but it's actually pretty funny. And I'm totally glad I paid $1.7 million so I could do that. Some other stuff inside of your hangar, the Luxor and the Luxor Deluxe. Now the Luxor Deluxe is the golden plane that is $10 million. If you want a cheap knockoff version of the golden Luxor Deluxe, then you can bring your regular Luxor into the hangar and paint it gold. Although I will say, because I'll compare the 2 here in a second, there is a clear difference between which one is actual gold and which one is the fake gold, because the regular Luxor has a super dark tone to it that you can't get rid of. So that is kind of unfortunate. But if you want a golden Luxor and you don't want to pay $10 million, then just bring the regular Luxor and spray paint it gold. Also, you can put pearlescent on matte or any of the colors for the jets. So the same way you can glitch the paint jobs on your cars, you can now do that for any of the planes. You can see this plane right here. I have a matte black with an ice white pearlescent. So if you want to be a little bit different, you want to have a cooler paint job, then you can definitely put a pearlescent on a paint job that is not metallic. One thing that is kind of unfortunate when it comes to this new DLC is that since these vehicles are now your personal vehicles, you have to call Moore's Mutual to get them replaced. And there's actually an insurance cost, although it is not much. No matter how the plane dies, whether you blow it up or whether someone else blows it up, you have to pay $1,000. So even if someone griefs you and they blow up your plane, you still have to pay the $1,000, which is kind of unfortunate, but it's only $1,000, so it's not too bad. The weird part about it, though, is that if you are defending yourself, if there is a grief in your lobby in a personal vehicle that is an aircraft, like a Hydra that he brought into his hangar and he made it a personal vehicle, and then you blow that up, you actually get bad sport points because it's a personal vehicle. So I don't know, like, if Rockstar even thinks of this stuff, but by you defending yourself against these personal aircraft vehicles, you're going to get bad sport points. Now, it'll probably take a long time before you actually get put into a bad sport lobby, but still, the fact of the matter is, you get bad sport points for defending yourself. One cool thing with this update, it made flares actually attract incoming missiles. So you can see we're on the beach here, my friend is shooting the homing launcher, and the second I shoot my flare, the homing launcher goes crazy. And the best part is you can use this, or you can shoot these from inside of vehicles. You can see I'm in a buzzard here. My friend is going to shoot a Savage homing launcher at us, and I shoot my flare out the window, and we are safe. So if someone is shooting at you with homing launchers and you don't have flares, then just use your flare gun, and you can easily stop the missile from hitting you. Now, talking about those flares and the different options, because I did get a few questions about this. So the flares are the best ones. You're going to want to buy flares. What they do is after the missile has been shot, you deploy the flares and the missile will go to the flare. Flares do not do anything until the missile is shot, though. The chaff option, that is actually something that stops people from locking onto you. So it's basically like a little mini EMP for a few seconds. So the second you hear the beeping, you deploy the chaff and it'll stop that person from locking on. Now, if someone does lock on and shoots a missile, the chaff system is not going to do anything. You can deploy it, but the missile is still going to come in. And then that leads us to the smoke. The smoke is basically just cosmetic. The smoke is not going to do anything when it comes to missiles. Maybe if you're in a fight with someone that is using the explosive cannon and not lock on missiles, you know, you could distract them with the smoke. The smoke might get in their way a little bit, but when it comes to defending yourself, the smoke is basically useless. So to summarize, the chaff is to be used before they shoot the missile, the flare is after they shoot the missile, and the smoke is useless. One cool thing, if you don't have enough money and you want to test all of the new planes and helicopters, you can actually access them in the creator mode. I don't have any gameplay footage of that, but if you go into the creator mode, you can spawn them in and test them out. They're not going to be upgraded, but you can still test them out to get an idea of what they will be like. There are new helmets in the game, and 2 of them give you the option to use thermal vision and night vision. And the way this works is you have to equip the helmet. The helmet with the 4 goggles gives you thermal vision, and the helmet with 2 goggles gives you night vision. And to enable them, you go into your interaction menu, you hover over whatever helmet you're wearing, and then hit the X or the square button, and it'll give you thermal or night vision depending on which one you're wearing. If you want, you can actually put up the goggles. So if you don't want them in your face, you can put them up, and that is with the visor down and the visor up option. Although do know, if you put the visor up and the goggles are up, you can't actually use the thermal or the night vision modes. So they do need to be down for you to use them. Speaking of that thermal vision though, one thing that you may end up using this to your advantage, and it's almost a Rockstar logic to an extent, when you're using the thermal vision and you kill someone, they actually show up in your thermal camera a little bit before they actually spawn, which is kind of weird. So you're basically seeing them, you know, a second before they actually get into the game. So that could probably be abused if you're spawning close to people or if people are spawning close to you, you could see where they're going to be at. The only downside, and I guess this is somewhat to balance it, you can't see what's around you when you're in thermal. You only see the heat signatures from people. One thing that kind of sucks with this DLC is that VIP missions and any of the missions that you can do in free roam, they don't stop the cops from getting on you. One thing I love doing was just loading up any of the VIP missions and then having 20 minutes of peaceful killing people and flying around because the cops would not come on me. But now, unfortunately, that is not the case, so they did patch that. Speaking of VIP missions, or really any missions in general, if you want a really easy way to complete missions, then what you can do is bring it back to the military base. Because what ends up happening if there are like NPCs that are trying to kill you in that mission, if you own one of the Fort Zancudo hangars, once you drive in and those people that are trying to kill you start shooting at you, the entire military base will go after them. So I thought that was kind of cool. It's not really that practical, but if you find yourself in the situation, then it is kind of funny to see the military base go after the people trying to kill you and not actually try and kill you. When in the bombing camera, the one from above, your plane is basically in autopilot mode. So if there's a mountain or if there's something in front of you, it will do its best to not hit that. So that's one of the things I was sort of worried about. When you go into the bombing camera, you can't control your plane. Don't worry, it's on autopilot and everything should be fine. If you're wondering what's the best between the different handlings for the planes, it's really personal preference. The best way I could describe it though is that each one is just a higher sensitivity. So the race one, the last one, is the highest sensitivity, and you can turn your plane very quickly, and that's good if you like to maneuver and all that, but it's really bad if you like to be precise. So unfortunately, you may just have to go and test it out yourself. It's hard to sort of demonstrate that over video. Maybe if you want to have the best of both worlds, just go in the middle and pick the sport one. That's like the second one, but just know it's sort of the sensitivity. That's what the handling is. And I want to add a few more things here at the end. To get the trade-in prices for all of the vehicles, all the aircraft, if you're wondering how to get the lower price, you have to do the supply missions or the source missions in the hangar. And it starts at 3 for the ultra light, and then it goes up to 21 for the Tula. And in between is all of the other vehicles. And when the unreleased vehicles actually come out, you'll see, according to Fun MW2, the Bambushka, it's basically every 3 you get the trade-in price. So the Bambushka is at 24 supply missions, and then the Hunter is at 42. And that's how you get the trade-in price, the cheaper price. So basically just keep doing the supply missions to get the cheaper prices, and then you'll save a lot of money. Also, since they made all these new aircraft personal vehicles, you can get them inside of your bunker. So that is definitely something that is chaotic, because I've seen a freaking Hydra in a bunker and it don't fit. And you can only imagine what that looks like. They buffed the Savage. So if you purchased a Savage a super long time ago and you've never used it because it's been super weak, they have made it a little bit stronger. Before, it would only take 6 revolver shots before it actually blew up. Well, now it takes more than 18. So you have a little bit more armor if you do plan on using the Savage. And then finally, the one thing I want to mention, because holy crap does it annoy me so much, the Havoc, the freaking little mini plane, you cannot land this thing. This thing, the second you touch the ground, it flips over and gets stuck. So if you plan on buying this, don't, because it's basically a one-time use, and then you have to call it again, because if you get out, it tips over and gets stuck in the ground. But those were 25 plus things that you may not have known about the Smuggler's Run DLC. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, please drop it a like, subscribe for more awesome GTA content, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.